Diving Deep are episodes where I talk to my guests about their life experiences, their wisdom, and knowledge, creating a space to share stories, connect, and give others hope. I truly believe we can learn from each other, and knowing someone has overcome what we might be going through can give us the power, hope, and faith to overcome our battles as well. I truly hope you enjoyed these videos. Don't forget to share, subscribe, like, and hit the notifications button. So today I wanted to bring in Juanita and talk to her just because when I first met her and then I just followed her through Instagram, I just had this admiration for her because she's just so fearless and like she takes on these projects and she's setting such a great example for the women in our community, and I wanted to bring her in.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So like the first question is, how many countries have you traveled to so far?
Oh my gosh, I started getting really confused on how many countries I had been to. I finally did a count, so I'm at 27 countries right now. And it's weird because when you travel, you do a lot of layovers, and sometimes you'll just stop in a country for a few hours, and not actually in the country, it's just in the airport. So I don't know, I think at a certain point I was counting those countries, so I thought I was like in 30-something, but then I was like, I'm going to stop counting those countries because if I knock them off my list, I won't be able to go.
For sure.
Or I'm like, I don't need to go back to China because I was in China for 2 hours in layover. And I'm like, no, China's a huge one I want to go to. So now I only count the ones that I actually explore in and that I spend like at least a day in exploring.
27.
So 27, yes. Right
What
now.
has been your favorite country?
Favorite country? I have quite a few, but if I had to pick one, I would probably say Thailand.
Why?
One, I'm a big traveler in like budget traveling. I love to be in places where my money can go far. So going to Thailand, it just like had a mixture of everything. It had a mixture of like amazing food, which if you follow me on any social media, I love food. I love it. So they have amazing food there. The prices are so good there. The culture is so strong there. Like it's just, you feel like you're in another country and it's just so different than where you're from. And it's just also like the sights, they're amazing. You see like these temples and you see like these shrines and the people, the way they make their foods. It's just like their whole culture. It's very different. So I think just it kind of checks out everything that I like about visiting a new country.
So cool. And I think like sometimes I see pictures of like infinity pools, and sometimes I'm like, that's Thailand. That's so pretty.
Yes, Thailand or even Southeast Asia, they're big on that. So even like Indonesia and Bali, they're really big on infinity pools, and they just become popular over time. So they're becoming very popular to make in like new resorts and stuff. But yeah, infinity pools are really cool. I once stayed in one. I think I paid about $30 a night in this one beautiful hotel in Thailand on the water in Koh Phi Phi, which is like these like combinations of different islands, and they had an infinity pool there, and that was maybe the only one I've ever stayed in. I think.
Would you ever go to Bora Bora?
Bora Bora, I would. It's not top of my list only because it's expensive, so it's not a. It kind of doesn't meet all the things that I like about going to places, so. The culture is not very big there. It's a very it's made for tourists. Tourists, like it's all about like nice views and water, and there's not a lot of people selling things there, and you don't see a lot of locals. So maybe one day, but it's just not. It's
not right now.
Yeah, it's not big on my list at all.
What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
My 20-year-old self. Let me see. Who was I when I was 20? I was probably like a sophomore or junior in college. I was probably just joining my sorority at that time and just kind of discovering myself. Okay, I'm trying to backtrack. It's like 13 years ago. It's a long time ago. Yeah. I would say to embrace the journey. I think sometimes we try to rush into the next moment, and we think like even though life is short, we just think, okay, I got to do the next thing. We're always rushing, and we're not truly embracing that moment that we're living in. And that's so important. So I would definitely tell my 20-year-old self to enjoy the journey, enjoy getting to know yourself. And I don't think I started discovering or going on that path of discovering who I am until like 25 or so. Like that's when I really hit that point of like, who am I and what do I want to do to learn who I am? But if I would have done that earlier, I think it would have been a huge difference of embracing who I was at a younger age. And I think that would have been awesome to, have that extra time, but it's all part of the journey. So that's a great advice for anybody who is 20 to get to know themselves early and embrace it.
That's so hard for me because like when I was coming up of college and I kind of embraced it now because when I graduated college, I know like getting my diploma was a great accomplishment, but I didn't feel fulfilled. And I was like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I was pressuring myself to pursue a safe career, a master's degree, knowing deep down inside me that wasn't for me. And so now, like, even now, like, sometimes, like, I order these books and I want to read them, and I feel, like, behind. I'm, like, because I need to read all these books, and it's so good, like, that you mentioned that, because I think that's what we need to hear in our early 20s.
For sure. No, that's awesome that, I think I agree with you with starting to feel comfortable, like, in your own skin, because, like, just an example I give sometimes, like, my name, Juanita Martinez, I used to hate my name, or, Juanita Martinez. Like, I hated it. I thought it was so, like, standard. I thought it was just, like, so Mexican. And I'm like, oh, it's not unique. I have other friends that are, like, Diamond and Pearl, whatever, they have, like, these really pretty names. And I felt so, like, basic with my name. And now I embrace it. I love my name. I think it has such a strong meaning, like my last name. And then my first name, I'm named after my grandma.
Me too. Well,
really?
My dad's grandma.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My dad, I'm named after my dad's mom. And so it's like now I really have embraced the meaning of where it comes from. But when you're younger, you're just like, you don't think about these things that are more meaningful to you. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Going on that question, I want to ask, like, looking back at who you were when you were 20 and who you are now, what do you think was the most valuable lesson you learned? And how did you get to become the Juanita you are now?
I think the most valuable lesson is definitely being open-minded. I think at a younger age, especially coming from Immokalee, I don't think I was very open to a lot of change. I was extremely stubborn. I still feel like I'm pretty stubborn now, but I was very stubborn back then. Always felt like I was right, or I always felt like, no, I didn't need to learn anymore. I already knew everything. And now that I've learned that I don't know everything, and that I have so much to learn, and that there's so much out there in every different category. There's so much information. And I just try my best to be like a sponge still, like if you were 2 years old learning language, trying to absorb everything and learn as much as I can, and being open to it all, not trying to seclude people's opinions and people's thoughts on different things. So I think having that mindset and going forward with, what, you have to understand both sides, has really helped me become who I am now, because I've taken all of that in. And had I not done it when I was younger, and I didn't do it at those earlier ages, I blocked out so much opportunities, or maybe so much knowledge that I could have taken in at an earlier age.
Yeah. Wow, that's so powerful. Would you have any relationship advice?
Relationship
advice?
What
advice would you give anybody?
I have great relationship advice, actually, especially to my 20-year-old self. Yeah. I think that getting to know yourself and valuing your self-worth is so important. So many, even people in general, men and women, and young boys and girls, like they don't even know themselves. So not knowing yourself, you can't possibly you can't give yourself to somebody else and love somebody else when you don't even love yourself.
Yeah, true.
And I feel like that was me at a certain point too. I didn't know myself. I don't feel like I loved myself at a younger age, where I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I wasn't comfortable with my hair. I wasn't comfortable with my skin. I wasn't comfortable with my weight. Like nothing. I'm like, why? I look back and I'm like, you were beautiful back then. Like why did you, why did I look down on myself so much? But getting to know yourself and being proud of who you are and being proud of the skin that you're in and being proud of your mind and your growth and your journey, you get to value yourself to a certain level that you only bring in somebody else in your life that also values you. And so I feel like that helped me with my current relationship, where I don't think that I would have allowed myself to be with somebody so amazing had I not valued myself, because I would feel like, okay, I don't have standards. Like, and that's something that happens. Like, people don't have standards. You can just see, like, with maybe even your friends, or when you're younger, people will just get with anyone and will only look at certain things, like maybe looks, or the certain car that they drive, or the clothes that they wear, what the language they speak, and they only look at that one thing and they settle for everything else. And it's just like, value yourself, love yourself, that set yourself standards, and not necessarily standards regarding money and status or anything like that, but standards that are valuable to you in your life, and that'll attract somebody that can match those standards.
I think that's so important, because not only you have that standard for that relationship, but then you carry on that standard for your job and like your personal development and just yourself, and it just helps you carry on with the life that you want to have.
Mm-hmm. That is, yep, we need to repeat that part. That's good. Or we need to quote that. That's awesome.
What's your favorite quotes, or what words do you live by?
I love quotes, I swear. Like, when I give advice to people, I'm just always like, oh, there's just one quote. So a lot of them pop up in my mind, but one of them is like, if your dreams are not big enough, or if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
Yeah.
And I love that one because it's so true. Like, people have probably seen it, but they don't really understand what it means. And if you have like a dream, like, oh my gosh, one day I want to be a model, or one day I want to be a doctor, and they're just thinking about those things. It's like, does it scare you? Do you feel like, oh my gosh, this is like a great risk, or maybe I can't achieve this? That's what you need to be achieving, things that really ignite some fear in you, because you have that fear of failure. And if you don't have that fear of failure, and you think that it's just a dream that you're going to get one day, so like if you have a dream to get, I don't know, a Chevy Malibu, is that even right? Right. So you have a dream to get a car, and you know that you would achieve that dream one day. That's not a great dream, because it's like, it's very achievable. Mm-hmm. So think of something even bigger that really gives you some chills, and you're just like, wow, could I actually see myself doing that, and opening your own business, or working for yourself, or traveling to 100 countries, or traveling by yourself, or whatever that dream may be. If that really scares you and you're just like, wow, can I actually achieve that? That's where you need to be pursuing your life in that direction.
And even like when you think about your dreams, I think sometimes like if it's a business idea and then you're thinking about it, and then when you go to sleep, that's what you're thinking about, and like those ideas are just in your head. And I follow this lady on Instagram. Her name's Susie Baptiste. She came up with Poopery. I don't know if you heard about it. The spray you before you go.
Really?
Yeah, it's so cool. Oh. And she like talks about like, if you have that idea inside you, it's because it's inside of you, because you can make it happen. Mm-hmm. And I think that is so true. Going off of that, what is the scariest thing you've ever done?
I would say probably the scariest has been when I decided to backpack Europe by myself. Mm-hmm. So I've traveled a lot by myself, but when I was going to do the Europe trip, I was going for 3 months. This was the first time that I was going abroad alone. Like I had been abroad before, but only to like Mexico and only to the Cayman Islands and Cozumel for cruises, stuff like that. But I never had been to like across the seas. So when I was planning all my stuff to Europe and I started telling people, and I only told some people, for some reason I was kind of very reserved with it. Like I didn't want to share it with people. I didn't want a lot of people to know that I was doing it. I don't really know why. Maybe like in case I decided not to go or something. I really don't know what the reason was. But I kept it to myself. I told very few people, a few close friends. And then even when I started sharing some of my journey on Instagram and social media, I shared it very little. Like I was just like, I took a picture of my backpack because I only went with the backpack. And I was like, oh, I'm about to go on, a trip. And I didn't tell them where. And it was just like very secretive. Again, I don't know why. Maybe fear of failure. But I also thought, like, what if I die? Like, I really thought I'm going to die on this trip. And everybody told me too, like, what the heck? You're going to go to Europe by yourself. You're going to die. And it scared me like so bad. So I went around and I told all my friends bye, all my family bye, and I made sure that everybody knew, the people I cared about knew that I was leaving. And I had some family members write letters to me, and I wrote letters to them. And just, in case they don't ever see me again, you have this like keepsake of me. But during the whole like first week, I was crying a lot. I felt so like, what is my life right now? What am I doing? This is crazy. Even throughout the trip, I started becoming like such a professional traveler. Like people, I would meet other travelers, and I was always helping them, and I was showing them how to book tickets and how to do different things and how to like do different hacks. So it was weird, but at the end, I felt like such a pro. I'm like, oh, I'm a traveling pro, and then I learned so much about traveling even after that. But that's probably one of the things that I took my biggest leap.
And I think I said this before, but Gwen, you said maybe you were scared because of failure. I think failure is a muscle, and like the more you use it, the more things you can do later on that are scarier, like, and follow your dreams.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are your future goals? Like, what have you to accomplish yet?
Oh my gosh, I haven't accomplished a lot of things yet. And it's funny, me and my fiance talk about this all the time, about how people sometimes can look at you, and even you and me, and they think, wow, you guys have accomplished everything. You went to school already, you graduated college, and you have people that haven't achieved these goals look up to you. Even people or kids who are in second grade, they have younger kids looking up to them. Everybody has like somebody that looks up to them. And I think with me, a lot of people can look at me like, oh, wow, she's traveled the world. She got her bachelor's, she got her master's, she has a great job. It's like, she's engaged. Okay, she's kind of done a lot of stuff that you're supposed to do. Yeah, you're supposed to do those things in life, and you did them already. But I think one thing that I want to do is I want to have a family one day. So I think I haven't accomplished that yet. I think that I would love to explore more like an entrepreneur lifestyle. I don't know when yet. I don't know if that's like a later thing or how. That's all like just kind of like a cloudy idea right now. But I think that would be a great thing to eventually do. I want to build my own house, or maybe buy it, and I want to have a nice yard. So I want to have a house too. Let's see what else. I want to do more community service in the community that are like bigger initiatives. So like, helping bring festivals here, helping bring more growth to the community that are on much bigger scales than are going on right now. But, those take a lot of work and research as well. I don't know, my mind is always like spinning, and I'm just kind of always like, what's next? But those are probably things that are like on the radar.
What country is next?
Well, me and Hugo want to get married one day, right? We've been engaged almost 2 years now, we've just been kind of prolonging it, and everybody's like, oh, when's the date? We're like, you probably know better than we do. We don't know. But I would love to go to Bali, Indonesia, but I want to save that for the wedding, or for the honeymoon. So if we get married soon, then maybe Bali, maybe Tokyo. We really want to do Japan. And what else might be a possibility? Maybe the Philippines. Like, we really want to go there too. I'm a big, like, I feel like I was Asian in my previous life. I love Asia. Like, I'm big on Asian food, Asian culture. Like Hugo says, I love Asian boys. Like, I just love, like, I love the Asian culture. So if I could go somewhere in Asia, that would for sure be, like, top of my list.
Cool. Anything that I didn't ask that you would like to share?
I would say, like, inspirations. Like, you can share too. Like, who are your biggest inspirations in life? And I can share after.
Tony Robbins, Oprah, Mel Robbins, and Ariana Huffington.
Okay. And you follow them all, like, social media?
Yeah,
you follow their
work?
Their
books, yeah.
Awesome. Me, I would say I love to follow a lot of Latina leaders, just because I'm in this, like, part of my life where I've really embraced my culture, and I try to be the next, like, maybe a, like, Latina leader. So I love Salma Hayek. Like, she's always, like, been a really big, she's been one of my favorite actresses since I was younger. If you know me, I love Frida Kahlo. She's no longer living, but she's somebody who I follow her work, and I research a lot into what she does. And who else? And it's funny that Salma Hayek actually played Frida Kahlo in the movie, in her movie. I think some other leaders, or maybe people who I love, authors. I love Seth Godin. I love his books. Really?
Yeah.
He has the best books.
Yeah.
I love him. Who else? Like, what other books do I? He's one of my favorite authors for sure. Other leaders. That's it for now. But I can probably think of more.
Yeah.
If I had a chance to sit down and think. But yeah, I always try to surround myself, even if they're not people that I actually see in person. I try my best to keep them, like, on my social media, or I keep their work in front of me so that I can constantly be reminded about their work and their words too.
I listen a lot to podcasts. And
Who's your favorite podcast?
My favorite podcast.
Yourself.
It's Jay Shetty, Tim Ferriss.
Okay, I didn't know Tim Ferriss has one.
Yeah, it's so good. Who else?
I need some recommendations. I actually don't listen to podcasts at all.
Yeah, I love listening to podcasts. And Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, his podcast.
Do you listen to Audible?
No, I tried it, and I rather see the physical, because I want to take notes.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
for sure. But I mostly listen to Audible. Like, if I am going to listen to something, but I've heard such great things about podcasts. I just personally haven't gotten into them yet. But I want to, because I would listen to Oprah's
Super Soul. Yeah, I have Super Soul, and then Masterclass.
There you go. Mostly because Hugo would send me a couple links of like different people she interviewed, but other than that, that's probably the only one, like Masterclass, that I've listened to. Good. I need to get into it more.
Okay, listen, guys, this is it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.